He's here. Now, broadcasting from the underground command post, deep in the bowels of a hidden bunker, somewhere under the brick and steel of a nondescript building, we've once again made contact with our leader, Mark Levin.
Hello, my friends. This is Hour 2. I'm Mark Levin. Our number, 877-381-3811. 877-381-3811. I have to torture you a little bit. I have a couple of Obama clips. Yes, I know. It's like fingernails on the chalkboard. Do they still have chalkboards? Or is it the whiteboard? Whatever. But I want you to hear this because I want to get to this point about oil companies. Now, many of you don't like oil companies. You've been indoctrinated to hate oil companies, insurance companies, drug companies, and yet if they cease to exist tomorrow, where would you be? In deep you-know-what. And just because a government would take them over or run them or what have you, doesn't mean they'd work better. They'd work worse. Just look all over the world. You wouldn't have what you need. All right, I don't want to go down that road right now. But I want you to listen to Obama in this clip, just how quickly and easily he's able to make really bald-faced lies and then move on to the next subject. I don't think this guy knows the truth from a lie because he has told so many lies in his life that the truth becomes a lie. I think he's living a lie, to be perfectly honest with you. But let's go to cut 3 on our long list of cuts. Cut 3, go.
I proposed a fee on big banks to pay back taxpayers for the bailout. We're reforming the way contracts are awarded to save taxpayers billions of dollars. And while we extend middle-class tax cuts in this budget, we will not continue costly tax cuts for oil companies, investment fund managers, and those making over $250,000 a year. We just can't afford it.
First of all, listen to how he sounds like a king. Like all the money belongs to him, and he's handing out benefits. Now, the fact that each one of these entities have created their own money, whether business enterprises or individuals, is of no consequence to this man. We cannot afford for you to keep more of what you've earned, or to keep what you've earned, period. We need more of it. When he says we cannot afford these tax cuts, it just shows you how screwed up this guy is. So he cannot afford to let you keep more of the money that you've earned. That's sick. Now, I want to focus on one little aspect of what he said so you can better see my point. The oil companies. Let me take the hardest one. Roy Cordato is vice president for research at a great group, the John Locke Foundation. And on National Review Online on the corner, he explains this so-called tax subsidy to oil companies. He writes, one well-publicized element of Obama's proposed budget is the elimination of quote-unquote subsidies for fossil fuels. But in large part, these are not subsidies at all. One proposal relates to the tax treatment of oil company incomes. Obama proposes to eliminate the expensing of what are called intangible drilling costs. Stick with me. These represent about 70% of all drilling costs and are made up of labor, supplies, contractors, and fuel. Now, under current law, oil companies can write off the expenses against other income in the year that those expenses are incurred, rather than depreciating them over a long period of time. So, in other words, the way it has worked forever. You have a business expense. You're drilling for oil. You're drilling for natural gas. You're spending a great deal of money on this. There's a lot of risk. There's a lot of labor. There's a lot of expense. And you come up dry. One hole after another after another. You look at the bottom of the oceans. You look at the top of the mountains. Dry. All right. So we have this expense. So what do? We deduct it. We create an adjusted gross income. That's what all of us do, don't we? Those of us who itemize. So you expense the risk, and you deduct it. And one of the reasons that's important for society is so they drill more holes and look for more oil and look for more natural gas so we can become energy self-sufficient. Energy self-sufficiency doesn't mean as solar panels on every house and windmills up every ass. No, that's not what it means. It also means more domestic fossil fuel. It's not a tax subsidy any more than a deduction you might take with some parking receipt or something is a tax subsidy. You're still paying taxes. It changes your adjusted gross amount. So what is he going to do? He's going to eliminate it or spread it out so long term that it becomes useless. So what are the oil companies going to do? They're going to drill less holes in America. They're going to look for less oil and natural gas. Now, do you think that's in the public's interest? Meanwhile, what the hell's the government going to do with the $39 billion or so dollars that they take from the companies? I'll tell you what they're going to do. Piss it away. More programs, more social agenda, more this, more that. Certainly not going to produce any fuel when you're cold. That much I can tell you. So that's how Obama views this, as a subsidy to the oil companies. A basic, natural, routine business deduction is now a subsidy. Meanwhile, the Associated Press reports, and you won't find this on any of the network news programs, only when they make a big profit. ExxonMobil's earnings were cut by more than half to $19.3 billion in 2009, the lowest total in 7 years, as company refineries struggled with a plunge in fuel consumption around the world. In Irving, Texas, the Irving, Texas company, finished 2009 with a 23% decline in fourth quarter income. Well, shouldn't we be applauding? Isn't that exciting? That ExxonMobil's not making a hell of a lot of money from, in context of what they're used to? That it's down? It's the lowest total in 7 years? And not only that, we're really going to stick it to them now because every hole they drill, they can't expense the risk. Or if they do, it'll be so long term it won't matter. We got them exactly where we want them. We're going to punish these oil companies. Oh, what's that you say? Yes, the supply and cost of fuel, well, that'll go up. Aren't you glad we're sticking it to them? Aren't you glad we have such a mindless, incompetent, ideological boob as president? That's right, I said it. Report it and spread it.